Breakups hurt and are worse when it's with your best friend. We're not trying to make this sound like teen drama here. It's a natural part of life, and that gets everybody. Even grown men like NBA superstars Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan. There's plenty of tea to spill on the situation, so let's get into the broken friendship everyone's got their eyes on right now. There's quite a lot out in the open now. First off, the two haven't spoken to each other in 10 years. A whole decade, you guys. How does some people live with that? It must be even more awkward, especially since they both are usually on each other's radar in the NBA. Fortunately, they've only crossed paths about 5 times since the rift cracked open between them, and we can't imagine how awkward those must have been. What we do know is that Barkley's tired of the animosity. It's been a long time. The world's turned enough times. What we know is that Barkley's tired of the animosity. It's been a long time. The world's turned enough times to have forgotten the past, and Barkley says he'd like to get back to playing golf and having fun with Michael Jordan. Having friends in business is already a precarious position to be in, if you ask us. It's hard to keep career and personal connection separate when you have both with the same person. And Barkley learned this the hard way. Sometimes in friendships, people might let go of their principles every now and then to accommodate those they care for. But it's harder to do that with the world watching. Barkley didn't have a choice. He had a reputation to maintain. A reputation of honesty and integrity cost him his friendship, and we're wondering just how far some things should go in favor of the other. Could there have been another way? A way in which he wouldn't have lost his friendship with Michael Jordan? What exactly happened to cause this fallout anyway? If you're new to this situation, let's offer some insight into what caused this in the first place. Maybe we'll have some hard lessons in life to take away from it. Up next, a look at Jordan's and Barkley's history in career and friendship. They seem like an unlikely duo, but these two had a friendship that lasted for decades. Drafted only 2 picks apart in 1984, it survived some pretty rough basketball and golf matches. The players became great friends in 1992 when teaming up for Dream Team and had been tight since. Sports was all fun and games, and it never got in the way of them. The two had solid egos that genuinely admired the other's skill and hard work. They shared a strong love for golf and gambling too, adding to the things that brought them closer. We know that Michael Jordan's a pretty reserved person in general. Very few people make it to his tight-knit circle of people that he trusts. Now, we don't know what that says about him as a person, but a relationship like that, once in it, must be pretty hard to maintain. Then again, we can't judge. Maybe the guy's just not comfortable opening up to just anybody. On the other hand, Charles Barkley's a very outspoken person with a chill personality. It's a perfect mix for the persona of a socialite, even though it can sometimes go overboard. He doesn't care for anything but honesty, no matter how it might affect anybody. Is it an opposites attract thing? We don't know, but it worked out for the two for a very long time. Or perhaps it was that these were the best basketball players and not many people knew the highs and lows of being in such a position. Now for the comment that sent it all crashing down. And we doubt there'll ever be a recovery. We'll lay down the details and let you judge the situation because we think that maybe Jordan took things a little too personally. Charles Barkley decided to retire from the court in 2000 and became an NBA analyst for TNT. Barkley's done plenty of interviews where he struggled with his career due to his brutal, honest nature, making it clear that he couldn't go around making concessions for anybody, no matter how close. Things were going okay for a while, but it was all bound to come to a head at some point. In 2010, Michael Jordan acquired co-ownership of Charlotte's NBA team, the Hornets. Formerly known as the Bobcats, he became the majority owner 4 years later, but there wasn't much to show for his leadership in the move during this time. Ever since Jordan's involvement, the Hornets had a pretty average run without many triumphs. Jordan was beginning to face a lot of criticism, and Barkley may have unintentionally added to the stress of it. "I was asked a question, and I'm told always be honest at my job," said Barkley when talking to Costas on HBO's Back on the Record with Bob Costas. He revealed that what he said wasn't even a direct jab at Michael Jordan at all, but at the situation around him. "I don't know if Michael's ever going to be successful because I don't know if he got enough strong people around him. It doesn't sound like something that should break a friendship? Maybe Jordan took it too close to heart? Coming up, what do the others around them have to say about the situation? John Sally's come around to weigh in on the possibility of Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan reconciling with each other. He recalled a conversation with Barkley last October or November, stating that Barkley said, "I made a mistake, I should not have said that about my friend." Sally revealed on Vlad TV that Barkley said it on stage in front of everyone, and that he's truly regretful for the hurt it caused. Despite his open humility about his decision to say what he did on live TV, Barkley doesn't believe a reconciliation with Michael Jordan is possible. "We're both stubborn," he said, but he does say that he meant what he said. To him, whether he was right or wrong isn't debatable because what he said at the time was what he felt, and it couldn't be changed anymore. Barkley misses the friendship, but he couldn't simply overlook the fact that Jordan was losing out of big potential simply because he wasn't giving anyone the chance to have an honest input, even if it meant disagreeing with him. It explains Jordan's small circle, but it's a reach since we don't know if the comments alone put the strain on Barkley's relationship with the Chicago Bulls' former star. Barkley believes he's done and said nothing wrong, and that he was looking out for a brother in the world where people will do anything to stay in other people's good books, even if it's giving false praise and leading another to their downfall. Is Jordan really responsible for the Charlotte Hornets' subpar performance though? Or was he dealt a bad hand? Let's look at being right is great, but at what cost? However tragic the tale may be, the world of fame's a harsh one, and the life of a celebrity's hard to keep straight. There are plenty of friends and foes to make, and we're not sure just how many Charles Barkley's made with that opinionated mouth of his. To this day, Barkley's hardly ever been wrong about any of his takes. Still, we think a lot of what was said and done could have happened privately. After the comments Barkley made, Jordan called him up to have a one-on-one, and Barkley admitted that it wasn't a pleasant conversation at all. We're not sure what went down over the phone between the two, but it couldn't have been an easy conversation seeing how competitive the two are as people, whether on or off the court. Barkley talks about the struggle of being part of the legacy, and we admit that even the smallest conflicts seem 10 times more difficult to manage, with the media blowing it out of proportion. At the same time, both the former players had something to look out for: their reputations and careers. There's a lot of debate on how the situation could have gone about and how Barkley has the power to make certain decisions no matter the positions he's put in. We agree he's pretty well loved, so he could have gotten away with something offhand and irrelevant that would have saved Jordan his face. Still, Barkley chose to talk about the Hornets situation publicly. Does this mean he had tried talking about it privately before? Was it simply time for a cold, hard reality check? Finally, Jordan is on a quiet path to building Charlotte's successful NBA team. There's been some surprising developments recently, and the Hornets seem to be showing some signs of making a solid comeback. This might have a lot to do with Jordan bringing in Mitch Kupchak back in 2018. A former North Carolina Tar Heel and multi-time NBA champion, he's created many teams, crushing championships left and right. Kupchak has a lot of experience where Michael Jordan doesn't, such as being the president of basketball operations. Putting his pride aside, Jordan finally acted in the best interest of his investment and allowed Kupchak full reign over the situation. The changes weren't easy to make, and Kupchak targeted one of the most obvious issues holding the team back: overpaid veterans. It's easy to get lazy when people know they're never going to be questioned, but Kupchak wasn't there to play and aired them all out. With plenty of vacancies to fill, in comes LaMelo Ball, number 3, who had become Rookie of the Year and took the team forward to the play-in tournament. Out with the old, in with the new, the Hornets now have some fresh faces that are slowly taking over like a calm wave before the storm. They had another great draft, bringing in UConn's number 11, James Bouknight, and number 19, Kai Jones from Texas. With the Hornets now with a strong and young heart to get the blood pumping, this is a setup that's made with the long term in mind. What do you think of this team? They've had a pretty strong offseason speaking for them, but we'd like to hear your take as well. So what do you think of the beef between Barkley and Jordan? Will the Hornets' improvements rekindle the friendship? Let us know in the comments. If this is the kind of content you like, please don't forget to like this video and be sure to subscribe as well so you're always up to date. Thanks for watching, we'll see you in the next one.